So welcome on behalf of Kinetics. My name's Tony Meredith. I'm the Professional Services Manager at Kinetics. My colleague Ben Fish is also on the call. Ben's one of our senior consultants and built the app, so he'll be able to talk to the technical parts of it.
Hi, everyone.
Really what we're trying to do is respond to businesses because we know ourselves that we all need to get back to work in level 3 and frankly business needs to restart and get going as quickly as we can, but at the same time we need to do things in a way that keep our people safe. So what we're going to do is show you a couple of apps today. They've been built in Power Apps, which is kind of like a box of Lego in that you can really quickly build things with it. But just like Lego, it is quite creative and you can change it and make it do all kinds of things. So for a number of companies, we've used Power Apps to build things, particularly around capturing data or about compliance and automation and things like that. And as Ben said before, there will be a chance for questions and answers. We'll do them at the end, which just helps us separate this out for other people who can't be here today. So Ben, if you go to the first slide. So we've got a bunch of obligations. We've got our ongoing obligations under the Health and Safety Act and to keep our people safe and safe at work. And COVID is no different to other things that we need to keep our people safe from. So there's that legislative requirement, but there's also this thing where we don't want our people to get sick or injured because the people we've got are really valuable and central to our businesses. And there's also an obligation around contact tracing. So we need to know the people who have come into our bubbles at work and the external sites that our people go to, the risks that might be there. And I went to a really interesting talk by EMA and WorkSafe on Monday night. And what they were saying is that if we restart our businesses in level 3 and we get asked by the authorities for contact tracing, you know, who's been in our businesses, who have our people come in touch with, if they came to us and asked us that question, saying to them, we'll get you the answers, we'll get that to you in the morning, wouldn't be good enough. This whole idea of contact tracing is that if there is an issue, that we can trace really quickly and that they can get onto it. But also in our businesses, if there was somebody who got into our building and came in contact with our people, we need to be able to trace that and identify it and find out who they came in contact with really quickly, because we might have to send those people home. We might have to tell them to go and get some sort of medical testing or things like that. So being able to identify who our people have come in contact with super quickly and act on it is imperative. And Ben, if you can just go to that next slide. So we've built 2 free apps. We've built them for our business, and what we want to do is make them available for our customers. And really these 2 apps that Ben's going to show you do 2 things. The first thing that we do is it tracks visitors to our site. So what we want them to do, if they come and visit the office, we want to stop them at the door before they even get into the building and ask them some screening questions. And we want to do it in such a way that we can make, if you imagine a paper form, it's very easy not to answer a question or to skip over something. We want to make sure that every time the question gets asked in the way we want it to, before people get into our site. And we want to capture that information. So if there's ever a query, we want to be able to go back and say, Ben came to our site and he told us that he hadn't been overseas. And later we found that he was. So we want the apps to do that. And the other thing we want an app to do is when we go and visit customers, when we go and visit sites, we want to also be able to ask some questions to make sure that that site is appropriate and safe for our people to go onto. And we want to do that before they walk in the door, and we want to capture it in the same way every single time. So what Ben's going to show you is the 2 apps that we've built for our business. Your business might be slightly different, and we can tweak them for specific business requirements. So I'll pass over to Ben, and Ben will just show you the apps, and then at the end we can deal with any Q&A.
Okay, right, thanks Tony. Okay, what we'll start off with is visitors. So I suppose a lot of us have got an app similar to this in terms of how we record visitors coming in. Sometimes it's paper, sometimes it's electronic, but I'll just go through this very quickly. Is we tap to sign in, and this could either be the person's coming up to your business, or as Tony says, it could be a person within your business who's recording this information before you even let them in the door. So let's just put something in on here. And this one here, although I'm showing it through my browser, it can be designed to work on, the original design of it is to work on a tablet such as an iPad, but it can be refined to work on whatever device you need it to work on, whether it's an iPad, another form of tablet, or it's a traditional desktop computer. Let's just put some stuff in there. So as I come down, who am I going to see? So this is looking up through the company directory of the business that I am visiting, and you can put multiple people in there as well, not just one. And as we go down, then we get our questions about our visitor and what they've been doing, where they've been. So as I come through, let's just quickly go through these. Some of them have a bit of branching. It's very simple. There's only 4 or 5 questions. So just to show you, if I do go and say that I have been traveling internationally, it pops up with a bit about, you know, have I gone into quarantine? And if I go into there and say no, we start getting a bit of a stop or alert. And again, these can be customized. These are the standards we've got. Let's just get rid of that one, and I'll take it back to being no on that. Okay, and we'll start to see other questions could trigger those off as well. But let's just go through that, pick out the stuff, some notes that may need to be added. This actually gets posted up to SharePoint once it's submitted, and it's just back ready for the next person or record to be recorded into it. Once it's posted into SharePoint, of course, you can manipulate it how you want in terms of you can report on it. You can have additional fields where you might want to record further information based on what you've gathered. So just to show you for this one, I'll just do a refresh to pick that up. I've got the data spitting into this one here, and we've got that visit there, and there's no issues. So notice the ones, there's some examples from earlier where I've been testing this out, where, you know, if they chose one of those options that alerts us as such, we've got the mechanism in here to see that as well. Okay. If you're not too familiar with SharePoint, you've got the option to export it to Excel. So it's easy to chuck it out into a spreadsheet and send it off, you know, in a couple of moments, what your current status is and who's come and visited your business, as it may be. Okay, so our second app is more about if you go and visit sites. So this is one that you know, our people who go out and about will be using as well. So this actually is geared to work on a mobile phone, you know, your Android or your iPhone. So it's specifically designed to work on a mobile phone screen. And all we do when we go to visit a site or in advance of visiting a site, create a new record, put it in the site that we're going to visit, who the site contact might be. As much contact details as we can get about them. It's automatically picking up the visit date and time, but again, that can be adjusted. and it's automatically picking up who the employee is in this instance as well, that it's me who's doing the visit. It's a very similar set of questions to what we have on the other one there. So these are questions that I'm going to be asking the contact who I'm visiting on site about them and any other people I may be interacting with on the site that day, and getting the answers around those. And once more on this, if we choose any of the things that we need to be alerted about, we get a bit of that up at the top. Okay, a couple of other options on this that we've got, you know, as we're visiting site, is everything kept clean, as it were, and also can the social distancing be implemented. We'll see again if we're choosing no to that versus yes, we're getting those alerts come up on screen. And if I come back to the top and click on the tick, that's going to send that back. Okay, and we've got the records up there, currently ordered by dates. We see the latest at the top of any visits done by me or any of my colleagues. And once more, that spits back to SharePoint. Again, I'll do a refresh so we can look at that data, analyze it, as I say, export it out to Excel as required. There, so there we go. There's that one there. Okay, and again, we've got that warning status showing up on here too. And that really is the main, that is the overview of the apps there. I suppose in terms of what they're aiming to do, pretty straightforward, and it's pretty straightforward to use as well.
Thanks, Ben. So these apps have been built in the cloud. It's just Microsoft Office 365, which is really common to people. Power Apps is just a really quick way of building this or automating some other business process. In terms of any customers who want this, because I'm conscious Tuesday is looming on us, it's a really quick process to copy from what we've built into your version of Office 365. Each of the apps is probably a couple of hours to build, and I'd allow an hour for a little bit of handover and training. If you want both apps, they're there. The other thing that we can do is that because the platform is really flexible, is that we can adjust these and tweak these for your site and your specific requirements. So that can be built in, and it is a really flexible platform, because what we're doing is just putting in questions and drop downs or fields for people to put information in, and then it's all saved into the cloud. In terms of your people, it is quite a simple thing to use, and we think people will pick it up quite quickly. We'll provide a little bit of training at the time of handover, and there'll also be some handouts you can distribute to your staff, or if you had a device at reception that you can laminate and put next to it.